Thanatos was too quick. What's the point of having it if you aren't going to even try using it? I don't like using magic when I'm trying to fly a helicopter at the same time. Seems like a good way to die, Charon said. The magic could fry the instruments and then I'd be totally fucked. Don't worry, I'd rescue you from the underworld if you crash and burn. Charon laughed grimly. And that's supposed to comfort me? Is he saying my magic isn't going to work? Because that's how it sounds right now, Hecate said in the background. I would never dare insinuate such a thing. No matter how great her magic is, it still likes to screw with technology in unexpected ways, argued Charon. What's the worst that could happen? Thanatos asked. Charon heard the snicker in his voice and hung up on him. Dick. Charon turned his music up again. It was okay for Thanatos. After all, he was the Titan of Death, so it was a walk in the park for him to come back into his body. Charon was determined not to need Hades to make him a new body anytime soon. He was only just getting used to the one he had, and it would take forever to get his tattoos back in the right places. He was still getting the touch-up work done where Pythos's goons had staked him to a car hood months ago. Charon rubbed at his shoulder, the phantom pain of metal being shoved through him still bothering him whenever he thought about it. He wasn't keen on any unnecessary pain that wasn't decorative. With great reluctance, Charon finally gave in and pulled the talisman from his pocket. It looked harmless enough, a shiny bronze disc hanging from a piece of leather. The small figures carved into it didn't make sense to him, but apparently they did to Hecate. One figure looked like a plant, another a primitive cauldron, and a straight line. I better not live to regret this, he said with a sigh before he put the necklace over his head. As soon as the bronze settled onto his chest, magic pulsed like a bolt of static on his skin, hitting him straight in the heart. Fuck, I hate magic, Charon groaned, rubbing at the space to soften the sting and cursing sorceresses and their trinkets. Then he looked up and saw the dark cloud in the distance that he was certain hadn't been there a minute ago. There aren't meant to be any storms today, Charon muttered. He had been checking the weather reports and warnings religiously every morning before takeoff. Charon tried to course correct and go around it, but the small cloud exploded, sweeping him into a wave of darkness. Charon fumbled with one hand to call Thanatos back. What? Are you seeing this fucking storm? Charon shouted, struggling to keep flying straight. What storm? There's nothing on the radar. What are you talking about? Thanatos replied, his voice starting to break up. Charon didn't reply. All his concentration was focused on keeping himself in the air as lightning and thunder crashed around him. His instruments started to malfunction. Dials whirred and alarms screamed. I fucking hate magic, he shouted, as the strong air currents sucked him down with impossible force. Charon screamed as something shot through the windshield, stopping just before it pierced his face. Is that a fucking spear? He didn't have time to be sure as the helicopter hit trees and his world went black. Charon didn't know how long he had been out when he finally came back to consciousness. He blinked the golden ichor from his eyes and stared at the spear tip still an inch from his face. Through the smashed windshield, he could make out green forest all around him, whipping about as the storm raged on. With shaking hands, he gripped the shaft of the spear and pushed it backward out of the glass to give him space to get around it. Fumbling with ichor-smeared hands, he unclipped the seatbelt and opened the cabin door. Definitely 2 broken ribs and a cut somewhere. Fucking just what I need. Charon slid out onto the wet ground, disoriented and woozy. He looked at the trees around him and the helicopter. Apart from the windshield and scratches from its landing, it looked suspiciously undamaged.